No, no, this is. Okay.
And I'll let you know when to go.
Okay. Do we have somebody cutting the music? Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here in person, the award winners and their guests, and thank you to all of those in virtual land as well for joining us. Let me start off this afternoon by saying thank you for being at the 2020 Top Gun Trial Lawyer of the Year Award ceremony. So thank you all for being here. I have two groups of people to thank, the first of which is our many generous sponsors for this event. Without them, we just wouldn't be here. So thank you all for sponsoring, and those are in particular our premier affiliate partner sponsors for this year were Chart Squad. Thank you so much for your support this year. Our video sponsors, Verdict Videos, of course, they're running the virtual program, so thank you guys. Our silver sponsors, Backseat Networks, thank you. Swim with Mike, and of course, Biznar Chase, thank you guys very much for your support. Our bronze sponsors, Vanderpool Law, Judicate West, and Rizio Lipinski, thank you guys for your support. And our supporters, Jams, Hodes Millman, the Hicks Law Firm, Kern Sheldon, ADR Services Incorporated, the law offices of Geraldine Lee, Cass Settlement Consulting, Cameron Whitney Court Reporting, and Kristen Nierhoff from Sage Settlement Consulting. Thank you all for your support as well in making this event possible. The second group of people I have to thank is the Orange County Trial Lawyer Association's Board of Directors, and in particular our Top Gun selection and Top Gun event committees for making this happen. They're represented today by Whit Birch, Aaron Hicks' oversight, as well as Angela Bruno. Top Gun selection every year is challenged with a very, very difficult, very challenging task of vetting what are always incredible, incredible results that come from a variety of attorneys from Orange County or who were working in Orange County at the time. And this year was no exception. And so to that I would say congratulations to all the nominations for your hard work and your commitment to the trial experience. And thank you for your continued support of your clients. We thank you for being with us today, and we thank you for joining us. As I said, this is the 2020 Top Gun Award Ceremony. And while traditionally this event boasts somewhere around 500 attendees in a large venue format with a particular sponsor we're able to support, this year it takes an unconventional form. This is the result of what has become the most of unconventional years. This year has required the Orange County Trial Lawyer Association to readjust and reconsider how this organization can move forward and continue to support its members. Rather than take a weighted out approach, the organization decided to continue working hard to serve our members. This included constant updates from the courts and a line of communication to court leadership. This included doubling our continuing legal education events and providing them in webinar format. We hosted a modified golf tournament this year that was a great result, a great success. And we've made many other strides to conform to the current situation of the world and continuing to provide for our members through our organization. Our Orange County Trial Lawyer Association mission includes the promotion of civil justice. This was not a goal that we were willing to sacrifice because of the times. One of the ways we have traditionally honored this goal and met this goal is by recognizing incredible civil attorneys and their achievements with the Top Gun Award ceremony. And to that end, I would say congratulations to all the winners. We're here to honor you at this 2020 Top Gun Award winner ceremony. Thank you all for being here. And thank you for joining us virtually as well. So we're going to jump right into this, and I'm going to give out the first award of the night, which goes to Jeff Rill. Jeff was introduced to the practice of law by his mother, Veronica Thomas, who's a forensic psychologist expert, and I understand she's with us here tonight. Through his mom, Jeff was introduced to Orange County Trial Lawyer Association member Tim Swift, and from there, Jeff's practice as a trial attorney has been consistent and admirable. Jeff is with the Orange County trial firm Kerr & Sheldon. His passion has always been trial work. Jeff has 9 trials, 8 to verdict. He does not shy away from the difficult cases, and he does not shy away from those that are traditionally characterized as low value. In that regard, Jeff has said in his own words, it's our job to keep the insurance industry honest. Jeff, we thank you for your trial work. I invite you to watch this video on Jeff Rill, our 2020 Young Gun Trial Lawyer of the Year.
The environment that led me to the law was my mom. She's a forensic psychologist here in Orange County. When I was getting through college up at UC Santa Cruz, we determined that I had no appreciable skills whatsoever at all. She suggested law school. During law school, I started working in criminal law at the district attorney's office here in Orange County and up in Los Angeles. That's when I realized that the courtroom is the place for me. Right out of law school, I started working with another OCTLA member, Glenn Johnson, and he and I did plaintiff's personal injury, disputed liability, big damages, difficult litigation-only cases. That's where I learned the foundational skills before you even get to trial. How to be good at discovery, law in motion, witnesses, experts, depositions. The trust that Glenn had in me leveled me up a lot. From there, I moved over here to Kerr & Sheldon. We work very differently here. We're up at the front of the lines, even on the smaller cases. There's not that many lawyers that are willing to push it on a case where a big win is like $10,000. Because you're committing time, you're committing money, time away from your family. It's still just as important to the client, but those are the ones that when we push them, that's when the insurance carriers get checked. And they have to then respond by making better offers to all of us across the board on those small cases. We know what cases should settle for, and so do the insurance companies. I'm not up there asking for $1 million, but I know what the reasonable settlement value of a case like that is, and when they fall way short, I gotta be that one attorney in the community that's pushing those cases to trial and getting justice for my client, and also to send the message to the insurance companies, we're OCTLA, this is what we do. That's an important message to get across. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, even on a little trial. It's super important and it's worth it, but when you win the little trial, where you know some adjuster wasn't taking your client seriously and they just thought you'd settle or you'd fold, when you get wins on those ones, that's very satisfying. And I look forward to helping the other attorneys that need a little push get to where I've got as I continue to learn from the luminaries in the community and to improve my craft and continue to push trials, small, medium, and large. Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, OCTLA, for this humbling and tremendously meaningful honor. I've been an attorney for just about 10 years, and OCTLA's been there for me every step of the way. The Young Gun Award is not one that you win by yourself. And the first person I want to thank is my first boss and my mentor, OCTLA member Glenn Johnson, who's here with us today. As Jonathan mentioned, my first trials were with Glenn. Our first case, or my first case, was against Caltrans. 6-week jury trial. Glenn picked the jury and then said, all right, kid, you're up. From opening statement there on, thanks to Glenn, I was able to set the foundation for doing trials. It was the trust that he instilled in me that made me feel like I could do it, and the justice we're able to get for clients makes it all worth it. So thank you, Glenn. I got my next big break at the OCTLA Holiday Luncheon at Original Mike's. I was over at the dessert bar getting a cookie and a brownie and possibly a cupcake, and I met Jeff Sheldon, a former Top Gun winner himself. We became friends, and a couple years later, I had the opportunity to start working with Jeff over at Kerr & Sheldon. I told him I wanted to keep trying cases, and he said, "Kid, if you want to try cases, don't take bad offers." And it's the support that I get from Russ Kerr, Jeff Sheldon, and Brian Trella, and everybody at the Kerr and Sheldon family that lets me go for it on small, medium, and large cases. So to them, thank you. I want to give a special thank you to my paralegal, Sherry Cooper, who's here with me today. Trial is difficult for the office staff. Subpoenas, depositions, trials, witnesses, angry attorneys, and whatnot. She keeps me level-headed and gives me the best chance to win. So thank you, Sherry. I wouldn't be here without you. My parents, my mom, Veronica, and my dad, Jerry, they're here. Thank you for a lifetime of love and support. And to my wife, Stephanie, thank you for letting me chase my dreams to become a trial attorney. And since we're being videoed, got a couple little kids watching back at home. Parker and Finn, Daddy loves you. And to OCTLA, I wish OCTLA continued growth and success. They've done an amazing job this year, and I think we're so fortunate to have such a strong Trial Lawyers Association here. So thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Jeff. Let me invite up to the podium at this time our president-elect, Cynthia Craig. She will be the president next year, and she will be giving out our next award.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see everyone here and welcome everyone virtually. Today I have the honor of presenting the 2020 Distinguished Achievement Award to Jennifer R. Johnson. The goal of helping people has always been the driving force for Jennifer. A former ICU nurse and longtime advocate for social justice, Jennifer has dedicated her personal and professional life to making a difference in her community. Jennifer established her own law firm in 2012, drawing from her ICU nursing experience, as well as her experience working for medical malpractice defense firms and the plaintiff's firm Lopez Hodes. Jennifer focuses on cases that cry out for justice based on her strong belief that access to justice is not just a privilege for a few, but a right for all. Another way Jennifer is making a difference in her community is through her work with Swim with Mike, a scholarship for physically challenged athletes. Jennifer also serves on the the UCI Sue and Bill Gross School of Nursing Esteemed Dean's Cabinet. Jennifer is also an active member here at the Saddleback Church in Lake Forest, California. And I invite you all to watch this video of Jennifer R. Johnson, our 2020 Distinguished Achievement Award winner.
This doctor had tested positive for, we'll call it MSSA, methicillin-sensitive Staphylococcus aureus. He was infected and he was contagious. And he passed on MSSA to my lead plaintiff, Michael Bard, which paralyzed him. As a 61-year-old, otherwise healthy patient undergoing an outpatient surgery on his spine. And furthermore, he passed on this MSSA infection during spine surgery to Herm Kandal. The staph infection digested his cervical vertebrae at C4, C5, C6, and C7. And so Mr. Kandal, he almost died. He had to have a construct, both in the front and in the back, made to really recreate his neck because the infection had so aggressively, literally digested his bones. And so I took a call from a woman who refused to identify herself, and she said, "I know about your Bard case. I'm wondering why you didn't name the hospital." She said the hospital knew that he was infected and they let him keep operating anyway. And she said, and there's other plaintiffs as well. I knew that this was potentially a punitive damage case, and the defense had a unified defense of complete and utter stonewalling. They said everything was protected by Evidence Code 1157. The biggest thing I really needed was the doctor's laboratory test evidence showing that he was positive for MSSA. When I asked the hospital for those test results, they said that they don't exist. Because the court found that the hospital could not be trusted to do a search of its electronic medical records for the doctor's laboratory test results, the court ordered that its own IT experts be flown in and actually go to the hospital, and lo and behold, nothing was found, which led us to believe that these records had been destroyed or spoliated. And within 2 weeks of that hearing, the case is settled. I was awarded $26,800 in monetary sanctions for the defense shenanigans. And in addition to that, I was awarded an evidentiary sanction against the physician. The cases ended up settling for $12,350,000, which was all the insurance money for the 2 lead cases and then a partial for the 3rd case. I consider that what I do a really high calling. I consider these cases a very special assignment. The settlements really are helping my clients get the care that they need. But I think more importantly than that, I think that the settlements really got the attention of the defense.
Do you want to take your picture next?
Yes.
Okay, let's take your picture after you give your speech.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just going to try and take this off. I know I'm good. I'm just going to hold it. Okay, well, now that I'm crying, let's hear it for some. And I'm so proud to be the only woman winning this award, although I'm sure I'm not the last woman that will win this award. And hopefully one of these years we'll have as many. Okay. We'll have as many women as men winning this award. Like I said, thank you to OCTLA, the board, and the selection committee for this incredible award. Now, like many of you out there, I consider the law to be a very high calling. Like I said in my speech, it's more than a job. It's more than a career. It's more than a way to put money on the table. Money on the table, or food on the table. I meant to say food on the table. It's better. It's really a high calling, and it's such an honor to be able to represent our clients in a court of law and to be able to seek justice for our clients. It's just one of the greatest privileges of my career to represent Herm Kandal, Gail Peterson, Michael Bard, and Joe Berghardt. And oftentimes, as with these clients, they were going through easily the worst thing that they'd ever been through in their life. And so we as trial lawyers, we have the privilege of meeting people when they're going through oftentimes the worst thing that they've ever been through. We have a unique opportunity to intersect their lives and to make a difference and to turn what they're going through on its head so that we can bring something good out of the worst pain that they've been through. You know, human beings can handle a lot of pain if there's a purpose. And we can help our clients find a purpose to their pain. We can help our clients to find a reason that they went through this, to find somehow to help themselves get justice, but not only that, to send a message that it's not okay what happened, and to make sure it doesn't happen to somebody else. You know, as I said on my video, when I was given this assignment, I was the fourth lawyer that the lead plaintiff contacted. This case was just an assignment that I had, and then there were so many miracles. It was just crazy. It felt like justice was actually being done, and so many times what happens in the courtroom, it feels like justice isn't being done. All the stonewalling, all the defense shenanigans that went on, but then there were the miracles. The whistleblower that called and said, this doctor was infected, and everybody knew it. She called the second plaintiff and said, you don't know me, but I know about you, and they've set aside money for you, and call Jennifer Johnson, because she can help you. 714-884-4197. Everybody got that? And then there were the 20 motions that I won, and the sanctions, and the evidentiary sanction. And then the defendant actually admitting in deposition that the things that the whistleblower had told me were true. There were all of these miracles that happened during this case. And, you know, it just couldn't have happened without other people coming alongside of me. The person that I'd like first to thank is Dan Hodes, who for 20 years has consistently been a mentor to me and just been amazing in terms of showing me how to practice law at the highest level, how to care deeply for clients. Work ethic second to none, and Dan was no exception in these cases and came along as my co-counsel. Scott Raphael, a brilliant mind, incredible compassion. Many of you know Scott. And an incredible, almost like, I don't know, Michael Jordan, like, I will not lose, I'm going to win, and just an incredible partner in helping with so much of the strategy. Jacob Brender, who works for Dan, and Jeff Millman, who came along and helping with the IT stuff that I was not good at and didn't have the time to figure out, went with me to the hospital to do the inspection, along with many other people, to Laura Tarantino, to Randy Ito, to Val Kessler, paralegals who worked on the case also, and finally to my family, some of who are here, who daily supported me in prayer and encouragement in many other ways, and to all of you for giving me the privilege to represent injured people and for your support through OCTLA. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm not sure how this goes back on, Kelly. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Congratulations, Jennifer, well earned. For our 2020 Government Entity Trial Lawyers of the Year, we have the honor of mentioning our great team of Court Purdie and William Paoli. Court Purdie, born in Boston, Massachusetts, is a partner at the law firm Paoli and Purdie. He graduated from the University of San Diego School of Law and has been admitted to practice law in California since 1995. He receives this award along with his partner, William Paoli, who is also a partner at the firm. William received his law degree from the Whittier College School of Law and has been practicing since 1993. Both have a passion for trial work, and both have developed a reputation for their firm with the handling of litigation from start to finish with fortitude. I invite you all to watch this video on Court Purdie and William Paoli for their work as being recognized as the 2020 Top Gun Government Entity Trial Lawyers of the Year.
This case is basically against the town of Apple Valley. and their ongoing arrogance with respect to how they sign their roadways, especially around Apple Valley High School. This happened at an intersection of Bear Valley and Navajo, where hundreds of kids walk to and from school every day for years. Bear Valley has been designated a truck route and has a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, and does not have any signage to alert motorists to reduce their speeds to 25 when children are present. And that's really one of the basic fundamental aspects of the case. Alex de la Cruz was struck and killed on his way to school.
Alex was a 14-year-old boy who really enjoyed life. He enjoyed his family life with his brothers and sisters. They did martial arts together, did soccer. He was the perfect son.
It was particularly dark on the morning in March 2016 when he was killed. He was about 7 feet away from the curb when a gentleman struck him. The illumination for that roadway was almost non-existent. It only really illuminated the signals, and so the driver told the police officers and he couldn't see Alex. So if you combine the non-reduction of the speed limit itself with the lighting, you've kind of created a perfect storm. And there are other children who have been hit in that crosswalk beforehand. It did show a pattern in practice that the town was aware of and still did nothing to fix it.
There's also another factor that played into the liability aspect of the case. That was the signage on the roadway, along the roadway. At some point in time, there actually was the existence of a school ahead sign, both a sign on the side of the road as well as stenciled across the roadway itself in the direction that that truck was coming that ultimately hit Alex. And it was removed and replaced with different signage. The speed limit itself was increased to 55 miles an hour, and it became a truck route. We started looking at the other schools within the school district, and every one of them had speed reduction signs. The town of Apple Valley actually filed a motion for protective order trying to prevent us from even inspecting those areas.
But the law is really clear. When kids are walking to school during those time frames, the law requires you to reduce the speeds. And then you come back to Bear Valley Road and they just sat there and said, you know, we have complete discretion to do anything we want, and the law doesn't require us to do it.
They're just wrong, period.
First of all, you had proper signage and roadway markings up back in 2008. Why was it removed? Why would you ever de-sign a roadway that's running right past your high school? Signing and lighting immunity was a huge issue in the case, or when a municipality takes the extra step of signing a roadway, they basically waive that immunity, and the court saw through that argument as well.
The town went so far as just to bring a witness to testify that she saw Alex at the corner and then run out into the intersection.
And so Bill cross-examined their star witness and pretty much dismantled their entire defense. It was kind of embarrassing, actually, yet they persisted in efforts to even resolve the case during trial, and the jury didn't even flinch. So if you think that San Bernardino jurors don't understand the value of a human life, you're mistaken. They understood it. Bill's closing argument was spectacular. He really just showed them what, you know, the value of Alex's life to his family.
Past damages were $10 million, future damages $50 million. So a total of $60 million. I think the jury understood is that it's the duty of that town, especially around schools, to protect children.
It's a mixed bag when you win a case like this, because why are you there in the first place? So I think that they're happy that the case is over now. They close this chapter and try to mourn and grieve for their loss without having everyone tell them that it's their son's fault. The jury did what they're supposed to do, and in their mind that was the fairest result.
Get your award. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sure. Wow.
Thank you so much. Kelly, thank you for making Bill and I look so good in that video. I appreciate it. Maverick wants Goose to say something first, so I presume I can't use Top Gun references after today, but it's been fun. So on behalf of Bill and I and our family at Paoli and Purdy, we cannot thank OCTLA more for the honor of having our efforts recognized in fighting for the De La Cruz family and our efforts in trying to obtain for them some semblance of peace, closure, and justice for their horrific loss of their son. This was a trial and a case that will forever sustain Bill and I, because it was extremely hard to litigate, extremely hard to help the family get ready to go to trial. Thank goodness it's before COVID. We're actually able to go to trial, because I'm not sure if they could have waited much longer to have a jury tell them that they were in the right and that they deserved the compensation that they justly deserved. So OCTLA is such a fantastic organization for so many years. And what we did in this case, in fighting for the De La Cruz family, is no different than what I know every lawyer who is a member of this organization strives to do on a daily basis for their clients. It is an incredible honor, and I personally am incredibly grateful for it. Bill and I have talked a lot about the fact that we're being recognized for this, and it's something that over a career you hope to achieve something like this, and once you finally do, it's wonderful to be recognized by your peers, people who you really respect and understand, give their heart and soul to what they do every day. The two speeches beforehand, you guys make me want to leave here and go back to work. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I know that, you know, people online, you all have the same commitment, and that is what's so important. And victories like this don't come in a vacuum, right? It's the support, the full support system that you have. My beautiful wife, Kathy, is here. My daughter, Caitlin, is here. My daughter, Aiden, is watching online. My extended family is watching. Their tireless love and support for myself, for Mr. Paoli, for my whole firm, is what keeps us going. And our second family at Paoli and Purdy, they're here. Majority of them are here. And they're just tremendous. They're the ones who made this victory possible. They have such a compassionate ear for all of our clients, and most importantly, they do their very best to make Bill and I look good, which probably deserves an honor in and of itself. But sincerely, Bill and I understand what this represents to get this type of award for the OCTLA board to have recognized our efforts. With sincere gratitude, we accept it, and thank you so much to OCTLA. Thank you.
You're right, that is heavy. You know, we're honored as trial lawyers to be able to be the mouthpiece and be the champion for those who don't have the ability to stand up to the insurance industry, to the governmental entities, to all those who frankly would take advantage of them. While it's satisfying to be able to help a client, to help someone like the De La Cruz family, it's nevertheless kind of a mixed blessing, because on one hand, you know, there's nothing you can do to replace the loss that someone actually experiences and the sacrifice that they make when they lose a family member, especially a young child. I'm grateful for the jury system, period. I've always said I trust jurors more, sorry if there's any judges here, more than I do judges, more than I do arbitrators, and certainly more than I do adjusters. Sorry. Sorry, Your Honor. Okay, maybe I'll look this way now. But no, but in all candor, It's an honor to represent people who need our services, and it's an honor to be recognized by OCTLA. I want to thank OCTLA and the support they've given us over the years, and it's been interesting, again, to watch how they've been able to deal with this unique year that we have. I want to thank the committee for their recognition. I want to thank my staff, who without their help we probably wouldn't have had anywhere near as successful an opportunity we had at litigation and their support. I want to thank my family for their support, and as most of us know, litigation's not always easy when you come home at the end of the day after a difficult day, and it looks like, especially at trial, it looks like, gee, we better come up with a new plan tomorrow. So they have to live with us with the ups and downs as well. And I'm particularly grateful for my partner. I could not ask for a better partner, a partner and better friend. So again, I want to thank everyone for this honor, and thank you.
So now I'm going to present the 2020 Top Gun Professional Negligence Lawyer of the Year Award to H. Gavin Long. Gavin is now a two-time Top Gun Trial Lawyer of the Year Award winner, having won the 2016 Top Gun Personal Injury Trial Lawyer of the Year Award. Gavin is a partner at the prestigious law firm of Bisnar & Chase. He has tried nearly 40 cases to verdict. Gavin is a member of the American Board of Trial Advocates. He was appointed to the Consumer Attorneys, or the Board of Governors for the Consumer Attorneys of California, and has also served on the OCTLA Board of Directors. Gavin also gives back to the community as an avid supporter of Tunnels to Towers Foundation and Wounded Warriors. Best said by his partner and past president of OCTLA, Brian Chase, Gavin is tremendously motivated and passionate about what he does. His results demonstrate the superior caliber of his work, skills, and abilities. It is my pleasure and honor to have you direct your attention to this video of Gavin Long for the Top Gun 2020 Professional Negligence Trial Lawyer of the Year Award.
John Cunningham, 58 years old, had a 35-year career at Boeing as a lead mechanic, married 25 years, had two daughters, 19 and 20. A very loving father, good husband. In fact, he and his wife renewed their wedding vows 2 years before this happened. He had back surgery, and when he was recovering, he was given pain medications. He started getting addicted to those, and the doc switched him to benzodiazepines, which is anti-anxiety medication, and that was the drug that got a hold of him, and he got addicted to it. He kept relapsing, so then they called John's sister, Jan. She did the research and found, at the time, who they knew of Redwood Cliffs. It's a bait and switch. You come to Redwood Cliffs, think you're getting this beautiful facility with the Rolls-Royce of treatment. You get shipped off for a week to this Bright Futures. The owner was a 25-year-old former addict, high school graduate, didn't know a thing. Had her grandmother supervising the place. They didn't give him any psychiatric medication. So now you've got somebody. Because Bright Futures is mismanaging the withdrawal from day one. He was declining because he was not detoxing. Why? Because the medication wasn't taken. And Bright Futures never sent John back to his detox doctor for a medication adjustment. I don't care who you are. When everything physically and mentally is hitting you at one time, and you're in pain and agony, you're going to end it one way or the other. They pushed him to taking his life. The next day, the owner, Cherie, is looking around the house for John. Can't find him. Where's John? She looks further. It's John with his own belt wrapped around his neck, hanging from a pole inside his closet. And 3 hours later, he's brain dead. Well, they took it to court. It's the largest verdict in the state for a case like this in California. The result was an $11 million verdict. As far as a personal responsibility example, that's about as strong as you get, walking in, taking a belt, and just killing yourself. John was pushed into taking his own life. One of the known symptoms of withdrawal was suicidal thoughts. They never even did a withdrawal assessment, so it was just, put the rule up there and they violated it, more framed it around the actual certification standard violations. And we had a great admission in the case. The owner said under oath she didn't know that if you mismanage a detox that someone could try to commit suicide. I'm so glad that this large verdict happened for Cindy and Carly and Chelsea, because these are good people. This is 25 years. This is the only man she ever loved. So I just couldn't be happier for them. Very proud of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gavin Long.
Thank you. What a beautiful award. I mean, gorgeous award. Anyway, as Court said a little bit ago, Kelly puts these videos together, and you only do one take. You don't get do-overs. You don't get a rehearsal. So all your stuttering and sweating and misspeaking, she edits that all out to make you look really good. I'm doing something wrong?
We've got 2 mics there.
Oh, okay. And plus, she makes you look, for me especially, thinner. So I look really good doing it. So thank you, Kelly, for putting that together. So here's me in real life. So I also want to thank Janet and OCTLA, because this, going through what we're going through, this is a hard thing to put on. And this is a beautiful venue. The food is outstanding. So I want to thank OCTLA and the board, and I think we all should give them a round of applause for putting this together. Thank you. So the case, when it came in the door, it's one of those cases you'd probably reject. A man hangs himself with a belt in his own closet, and you're going to sue the place where he did it. And so, we litigated the case. The biggest offers were, we had 2 defendants. We had the detox, and then we had the rehab called Narconon, which is Scientology's version of rehab. So the most that was ever offered on the case was $450,000. And I learned why in post-trial motions is they said the verdict was excessive, and they had the statistician come forward and say, here's all the similar verdicts in the state of California that were tried since 1985. They had 25, they had to add in attempted hanging cases because there were so few hanging cases who would try and who would finance a case like that. So out of all 25 cases, 17 were defense verdicts, 8 were plaintiff, and that was the largest verdict. So that's why they offered so little, but we just had a hell of a case. This industry, it's a bad industry. I mean, you've got people. How this got started is a few years ago, rehab was not covered under insurance because it was a pre-existing condition. That all changed, and these houses, these tract houses started popping up, getting people that know far less about detox and rehab than I do, coming in there. You can bill out $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a day. You get 5 or 6 people in a house, you lease it, you make a fortune. The little gal that was running Bright Futures, she was set to make $1.4 million a year against about $300,000 in costs. This is somebody with no high school education, an ex-addict, which she overcame it, and that's good, but you've got no business, 25 years old, taking care of somebody like John, who had the addiction, plus he had a psychological problem too. He had, on psych medication. So, tried the case. It was 3 weeks in Santa Cruz. I did it on myself. Called 19 witnesses. I called their own experts even. But the most satisfying part of the case, and this is very similar to what Jeff mentioned about arrogance. At the hotel I was staying at, there was a restaurant across the street. And after court, I would walk across and get my dinner. We got done with closing arguments on a Wednesday. The jury came in on a Friday. So Wednesday evening, I'm going over to the restaurant to get my food. And I'm in the reception area waiting. And it was kind of a small place. And so the bar was a few feet in, and around the wall there were tables and things. And I hear the defense lawyer and his clients talking, "Oh, what a great job you did. You got it in the bag. There's no chance they win. He's this, he's that. They got no case. This guy killed himself." So Friday, about 2, 3 o'clock, the verdict comes in. And we had a great judge. Now, when you try cases, it's usually the clerk who reads the verdict. This time the judge saw the verdict and said, "I'm going to read this verdict." He hated these people. I mean, after 3 weeks, I think even the defense lawyers hated their own clients. So the judge is reading it, and both clients, they start bawling in the courtroom. And they read $11 million verdict because they were trying to get cleansed too of this. They had some guilt. They got hit with $11 million, and they're crying their eyes out, all upset and arrogance. That was the most satisfying thing, seeing those people, get justice and seeing it come out in the courtroom like that. So anyway, heck of a case, and I want to thank Brian for, the hardest part of this business, we're up here and we're celebrating, but the hardest part is, number one, getting these cases. Number two is financing them. That's the hardest part. And Brian, I think, probably invested a small kind of Irvine condo for this one. A hanging case where I got, their statistician said I had a 1 in 368 chance of getting this verdict. So one, I want to thank Brian very much for giving me these opportunities that he gives. But it's expensive to finance these cases. This was a high-risk case, and he believed in me, and I can't thank you enough, Brian, for all the opportunities you give me. Then the most important person, little Rebecca, my wife of 22 years. Thank God you're not a juror, because I would never be able to concentrate. So, no, I love her to death. She was 19 years old when she was 19 when we got married. I was in law school. It's been great for 22 years. But my support, because trying these cases is tough. Tough on you emotionally and mentally. And she just makes it wonderful, makes my home life wonderful. Tremendous support. And I love her to death. And I look forward to spending another 22 and another 22 after that, provided I lose more weight, though. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, perfect, the right one.
Gavin, congratulations. I was joking with Gavin before the event here that that was number 2, so one more makes a hat trick. And speaking of multiple award winners, let's turn to our next award recipient, Chris Purcell. I have the honor of presenting renowned trial lawyer and somebody I consider a dear friend as the 2020 Top Gun Personal Injury Trial Lawyer of the Year. Chris Purcell has been a trial lawyer for over 30 years. He is a double graduate from Trial Lawyers College, founded by the legendary Jerry Spence. Chris is a long-standing member of the Orange County Trial Lawyers Association. Some might know him for his Bloody Mary bar at the golf tournament. Others recognize him for his over 100 jury trials to verdict. He's made a name for himself as handling cases with competence and care. His work is performed with a constant mantra of justice is truth in action. He is somebody always willing to help, and he's eager to discuss trial tactics on any case where any attorney is looking for advice. Chris used his years of experience and his commitment to the pursuit of justice in obtaining an incredible result on a heavily disputed case. His success provided a better future for a young girl who otherwise could not find legal representation. I direct your attention to this video of our 2020 Personal Injury Top Gun Trial Lawyer of the Year, Chris Purcell.
The case starts with a 72-year-old bus driver, and she has been driving for the school district for over 30 years and was now in the afternoon part of her shift. Mr. Diarte, who's a 24-year-old man, and his niece, Jessica Fonseca, are traveling straight on this roadway. So when the bus driver comes to make her left-hand turn, she begins, and in the middle of that turn, the collision occurs, and horrific impact, and basically splits the car in two that Mr. Diarte is driving. Mr. Diarte is killed upon impact. His niece, Jessica Fonseca, is severely injured and is unconscious in a portion of the vehicle after it's basically exploded apart. What made this case so difficult was Mr. Diarte's vehicle had passed another vehicle on the roadway. And in that vehicle was kind of the all-American couple. They were very adamant that he was traveling excessive speeds. The entire report and investigation was built off of these statements made by these very credible people. I still had the question, he's going straight down the roadway, what was keeping her from actually seeing him? That began to open up an underlying story and what I found to be the truth of what really occurred that day. There was an onboard camera for this bus that mysteriously disappeared. The very attorney in possession of that video to begin with was the attorney defending these depositions. And he allowed the people that I were deposing basically to lie under oath about what that video showed because they didn't know I had the video. I had acquired a copy of the video through an investigator previously and the CHP. The bus driver who had indicated that she came to a complete stop before making that left-hand turn never stopped. And the video very clearly shows that she never stopped. 2 weeks before trial, we got this one expert's deposition, and he was using something called photogrammetry. So we acquired a rebuttal witness. Both sides hired accident reconstructionists to recreate this collision, and the plaintiff's expert indicated that Mr. Diarte was traveling between 60 to 65 miles per hour at the time of the impact. Their science did not match up, and it was inaccurate. And those inaccuracies literally made the difference of seconds in this impact. What we considered to be a story or an untruth, piece by piece started to fall into place, I think, for the jury. They began to see that the truth we were giving them was in fact the real truth. When the verdict came in, it was a little over 7.6 million. We felt that that was a very good conclusion for us. I don't think I've ever quite felt like that on a case before. This is the most rewarding case I've ever done by far.
Our Personal Injury Trial Lawyer of the Year, Chris Purcell.
Wow, what an honor. You know, I feel so strongly about this organization and what we do and who we do it for. I'm already getting emotional. So I immediately want to give thanks to Janet Thornton. I know you didn't expect me that quickly, who makes this organization hum. She also made it very clear that I don't have a lot of time to talk, which is a horrible thing to tell somebody who's a bit chatty like me. So I better just get to thanking some people because there's some people that need to be mentioned here tonight. Right off the bat, Mr. Jonathan Dwork, who just introduced me. Jonathan took a call from me, and I asked him if he would participate in this case, and I was entrenched in, really, it was a difficult fight with very difficult defense counsel, and Jonathan jumped right in. And we went to war against a lot of obstacles, many of which were designed to specifically get this case to never be heard by the court, and included the defense even suing the mother of the little girl. And I could tell you so many stories about how difficult this was, and I'm going to tell only one because it involves Jonathan. And it is one of my favorite parts of this entire trial. It is also one of the most painful parts. And you heard that little snippet from that video about the photogrammetry. In fact, that video made this case sound easy. I wish that would have been the case. But the defense brought in that expert without ever designating that area of discussion. And basically, you can't put it any other way, we were sandbagged with this photogrammetry that we had no idea was going to be part of this case. And Jonathan and I are standing there wondering, how do we deal with this? And Jonathan, in his brilliance, said, let's talk to my brother. And Nicholas Dwork turns out to be one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. He gathers PhDs like I get phone bills. And he took a look at this because his specialties were very applicable to the very science that was used by this expert, and I use that term loosely. And Nick took a look at this, and we asked him, will you come in and be a rebuttal witness? Because the court refused to preclude this testimony that was dropped on us unknowingly. And so Nick said, yeah, I will come in. And the reason it's one of my favorite parts of the trial is because Jonathan questioned his own brother. Now, you got to love that, right? But it was a 402 hearing. The defense wanted a 402 hearing. And Nick walked in and literally laid out in the most incredibly simple and clear discussion about the science, and showed that the defense and this expert had literally manipulated intentionally the laws of physics, and that it was the perfect term, junk science. And this science was the basis and the foundation for the accident reconstruction. It was the only way that they could get the speed of the vehicle up to almost 90 miles per hour. Nick destroyed them. And I have this very vivid memory of seeing the defense counsel, one of which was Dana Fox, and his face is dropping because it was so destructive. And a moment later, after the 402 hearing, the judge ruled that it was excluded. So that was why it was one of the most depressing areas, because literally it destroyed their case, and I can't imagine what we would have done with this case if it had been heard. Jonathan, in all honesty, you should be up here sharing this with me. But I appreciate you as a colleague and as a great friend, and the work you did will always be part of the foundation of this. You should know that Jonathan, as the president of this organization, felt it would be best if he did not receive this award during his presidency, and left me standing up here like a selfish bastard. But I love you like a brother, man. I really do. Also, Kevin Liebeck, who's here, took a call from us, and I'm sure it's a call he wished he had never taken. And we asked him, Kevin, can you drive all the way to Bakersfield and be one of our experts at Dr. Schwartz? Dr. Schwartz was a doctor who could not appear at trial, in fact, basically refused to appear at trial. And Kevin drove up and took on the life of Dr. Schwartz, and he did it amazingly well, and also provided some of the best humor in our case when he corrected Jonathan's pronunciation of a medical term while he was on the stand. And then when he was done, he walks out, we went out of the courtroom, and he delivers a line as only Kevin can and said, "May the Schwartz be with you." And Doc, it was. It was. Next, I have to thank Oliver Stayhill and Baxi Networks. Oliver was in the trenches with us up in Bakersfield every step of the way, and if you've ever been in Bakersfield in the middle of summer, that is not a trench you want to be in. And he was there fighting it out with us, standing behind freight trains, trying to get to the courthouse, you name it. We were dragging boxes around, sweat pouring off us. And he was there inside the courtroom trying to present our evidence the best we could, while time and time again it was excluded or changed, and we had to do things on the fly all the way up until closing and rebuttal, and he was there every step of the way. I had to do a lot on the run and ad lib, which I actually enjoy doing, but it must be a nightmare for you, Oliver. And he did it very, very well and pulled through with that. And man, I should say that Oliver has been with me in many of my trials. When I stood and received this award in 2011, Oliver was part of that trial. The trial that we did in LA with Brian Brandt in 2013, Oliver was there. A trial I did with Brent Caldwell in Los Angeles, Oliver was there. Just about every single trial case that I've had in the last 15 years, Oliver and Baxi Networks have been there doing that job. So, dude, thank you very much, like family. A very important person I need to mention here is Crystal Hatch. Crystal has been with me in my office, grinding away with me for almost 25 years. Now, that in itself is amazing. But her efforts have helped me to become the best trial lawyer that I can be, which in my mind includes trying to be the best Chris Purcell I can be. And there's times when I've failed, but there's many more times we've succeeded. And I owe her a great debt of gratitude. And Crystal, to say that that I owe you a thank you is understating it tremendously. Our clients and I owe you a huge debt of gratitude. And the love and respect that we have for each other makes this work so wonderfully. So thank you very, very much. There's somebody I need to mention here tonight who's not here. And it's one of the reasons, excuse me. It's one of the reasons I'm a bit emotional. And that's my brother, Kevin Purcell. Now, Kevin is one of my older brothers. And in 2011, he was unable to attend when I won this award. And he told me, hey, Chris, if you ever win that award again, I'm going to be there. And so when I found out that I was again going to be honored, I called him up. And just to hear his excitement and joy was incredible. And a couple weeks later, unfortunately, Kevin became ill. And he ended up in the hospital. He had multiple complications, unfortunately snowballed, and he passed. And it was a huge loss to me, to our family, and to anyone who knew this man. Exceptional. He was an exceptional human. Now, that leads me to what I want to say to you in closing, with that statement of love and the pain that we feel when we do care is also a gift, to be able to feel that depth of emotion. And we can incorporate that feeling and that caring into the people we fight for and the cases that we run, knowing that they have lost people they love, or have had parts of their lives changed, or have lost things that are precious to them, that we can stand up for them, knowing that we can speak and truly feel what has been done to them and what we need to do for them. We are on the right side of things. This organization is on the right side of things. And I thank all of you for being a part of what we do, for being a part of this organization, for serving the people like we serve them, and for joining us here tonight to celebrate it. And to that, thank you all. Cheers.
Congratulations to all the award winners. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here with us today. It was different, but it was wonderful, and all of you deserve to be recognized, and your families deserve to see you get recognized. So thank you again, everybody, for being here. I want to thank Kelly and her team at Verdict Videos for providing such great videos, the memorable stories for our award recipients, as well as producing today's virtual awards program. So thank you guys very much. You've always been a tremendous supporter of OCTLA year after year, and it does not go unrecognized. So thank you. Thank you again to our sponsors. Your contributions made this awards program happen. And thank you to our viewers for sharing in the celebration of these well-deserved award recipients. Thank you again to our Top Gun selection and Top Gun event committees. This video for the award recipients, for the family, for anybody who couldn't view it, will be available at the OCTLA.org website for on-demand viewing. And anybody who missed it will be happy to provide it for viewing. So thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Congratulations again.